I absolutely love the Realme GT Neo 3, not just because this is the Naruto edition. The real one's coming out in just a couple of days. If you're watching this in the future, it's here now. It's always funny talking about that stuff. But the GT Neo 3, I am really excited about it, and I'm excited I have mine, but I'm excited for everybody else because I actually made a video not too long ago saying the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 is the future. And the future is here now because that chip, I think, paved the way for a lot of wonderful things in the smartphone world because everybody is tired of living under the Snapdragon Halo. Like everybody, basically, you get a Snapdragon processor for years in this Android world, or you got a terrible phone. It just wasn't good. You had the Exynos processors, which are always wishy-washy, and now we have the Tensor chip, which the first generation didn't really work out as well as I think you wanted it to, but it's finally getting better and better and better now as we're moving, of course, further away from when the phone launched. MediaTek chips, historically, not good. And I have a lot of experience with them because the first phone I ever got to review, sent to me, was a Blue phone about 4 years ago, and I love those guys over at Blue. I've had a great working relationship for them for a long time, and they gave me a shot in the very beginning when nobody else would. So I'd like to still continue to support those guys. There's some great people over there. But yeah, I had never used a phone with a MediaTek processor prior to that. When I first started testing them out, I'm like, wow, there really is a big difference between the MediaTek chips and the Qualcomm chips. Not so much anymore. And I think that Qualcomm should be really worried because if you look at what we get with Apple, Apple has their own silicon now. They've had it for a while. They make some amazing stuff. But for the rest of us, then it was like, okay, Samsung is going to start making their Exynos chips. Maybe that's going to compete with the Qualcomm Snapdragon chips. And then that didn't really happen. But now we find ourselves in a position where you have Apple with their own chips, you have Google with their own chips, you have MediaTek making chips going into phones, then you have the Tensor chip that Google's making. So Qualcomm is running out of different phones to put their chips in. And that can be problematic for them. And actually a good problem for us because competition is the mother of all invention and necessity. It's something that makes it where we get a lot of cool new stuff. So whenever I first heard about the Dimensity 9000, it blew my mind. And I was very skeptical at first because I was like, okay, the benchmarks are about the same as the Snapdragon 888. Can we really believe that though? Because there's been problems in the past where the numbers were a little iffy. And this one right here, the Dimensity 8100, is the first flagship level Dimensity chipset I've had in a phone. This phone has blown me away. And I want to show you something. I want you to see exactly how fast the facial recognition is on here. Let's see if I can capture this on camera. It's so fast. Look how fast that is. And that's not because of the power necessarily, but look at this. The fingerprint sensor, insanely fast. And we've been having all these problems with the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro and its fingerprint sensor and the lack of facial recognition. This one has been such a treat. I don't even realize I'm unlocking it sometimes. There's always this lag and delay. When you turn a phone on, you go to do the facial unlock, you go to do the fingerprint unlock, there's usually a delay. So you have like this expectation in your mind. And then this one, it's just on faster than I can say lickety split. So that right there was a good indicator I was getting something special. And then you fire up the camera. The camera app, it doesn't take a long time to turn on. And it doesn't have any shutter lag in it. Like it's pretty quick when it comes to firing the pictures. And also, it's just fun to play with. And I've been playing video games. I've been playing Apex. And Apex is a pretty intensive game. If you fire that one up nowadays, you know that you can't play that on any run-of-the-mill phone. It's not like PUBG. I fired it up the day it came out on my S22 Ultra, and it had problems. The phone was getting warm. It was kind of bogging down when it first started up. It was glitchy when I was playing it. I was having some like page tearing, and like the screen was doing some funky stuff. So when you can imagine my concern when I decided to play it on this phone, I thought that it was going to be rubbish. I thought that it was not going to be very good. It has been flawless. I played a couple games on it. The phone doesn't even get warm. Like, I put the phone up to my face after I got done playing the game, and I'm like, why is this phone not hot? And I was like sitting there kind of scratching my head. Because when you think about it, the Snapdragon 888, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, the 865, a lot of those other chips, they get pretty hot. It's been a problem for the last couple of years when it comes to those phones when you use GPS, when you play games, especially intensive games, when you fire the camera up and use it, when you're shooting 4K video, they get hot. And this one, hardly even any warmth at all. And I was playing Apex for a while. So yeah, I made a video, I had a prediction, and I think it's finally come true. And I think that now we're going to start seeing more of these chips proliferate out into different phones, only for the betterment of everybody, because the MediaTek chipset, I think, is very good. I think it is good. I think the last ones, I tested out like the Dimensity, the 800, 900, the 1200. There's several different ones I tested out. This one right here, though, this one takes the cake so far. And here's the other thing. They don't cost as much. So when we look at the Pixel 6, $599, good price point, no issues there. But then you look at anything with the Samsung name on it, $799 for the S22, $999 for the S22 Plus, $1199 for the S22 Ultra. I did the math on this one, and this Realme GT Neo 3, US dollar equivalent, $415. $415. Now, this phone has a big screen on it. It's got 1080p Full HD Plus resolution, 50 megapixel camera, which is actually pretty decent, 5,000 milliamp battery, 150 watt charging. You can recharge this thing from 0 to 100 in like 5 minutes, I believe is what the advertised speed is. How do you get all that stuff for about $400 when we're having to pay $1,000 basically to get the equivalent? This matches up with the S22 Plus, $999. So I can see why Qualcomm is concerned. I can see why Samsung is cutting their expectations on their sales forecasts and their prices. They're having big sales. I just did a video yesterday talking about the S22 basically kind of fire sale on Samsung right now. If you've got an S21 Ultra, you can trade it in to Samsung right now and get an S22 Ultra for $199, and they'll give you a Galaxy Watch 4, and they'll give you 30% off if you bundle the Tab S8 with it. This is a Memorial Day sale, so if you watch this down the road, it's not there. But I was just blown away by the level of sales that they're having with the phone right now. I think they're concerned, and rightfully they should be. There's even talk about kind of the Exynos going away, and then Samsung going back to the drawing board to create a new chip that's going to come out in a couple of years. So interesting to see what would happen, even if maybe Samsung went with the MediaTek in the interim instead of the Exynos if they stopped making those. But yeah, this phone, the GT Neo 3, and I wish that they had more of these Naruto phones. I am in love with this. I like it so much. If somebody sent me normally like a Chinese phone, and this is not a derogatory thing, but it doesn't have English. Everything is in Chinese on it. Like if I switch over and I had to change the keyboard on it. But if you went over to like the media feed, if you went over to the news feed, here, if I try and open up the browser, let's see if we can see this here. Let me turn the brightness down. There. I can't use that. I can't. So I went out of my way. I found a way, and I downloaded the Play Store. I got my Twitter on here. I got my other apps. I've got the Play Store. I've been playing Boom Beach on here. I've got my Google account on here. I'm using DuckDuckGo. I got Wild Rift for League of Legends on here. I've got Apex. This phone has not slowed down once. It's been super fast, super zippy. And if we can get something like this, if Realme could find a way to hop over the pond or hop over the swimming pool, which the Pacific's bigger than the Atlantic, if they could get over here and start selling phones for $400, that would completely disrupt the industry over here. And I'm curious to see what happens with the Nothing phone, because I really kind of forgot about that. But yeah, I think that there is a special place for about a $500 phone, $400 phone that can do all of this business, and we don't have to deal with all the headache and all of the problems and all the upcharges that we get with these phones like Samsung, where they take away the SD card slot. They give us a dumbed down version of a $1,000 phone with a lower camera, different resolution on the screen that's lower, and not the best screen that they have. I mean, you should have the best for a $1,000 phone. Why are we getting shortchanged? And I made a whole video about how you should not buy the S22 Plus because of those reasons. So, yeah, I would like to see more of these things find their way over here to the States in a way that we can use them. Of course, AT&T makes that harder because they don't let you use non-supported phones. This one doesn't work with AT&T, but I'll tell you what, it works with T-Mobile just fine. Now, I don't have 5G. Supposedly, some areas you might be able to get it, but that's a whole nother story. This is kind of a 5,000-foot discussion looking down. This is a great phone, and I'm really enjoying it. Not just because it's Naruto, but every time I pick it up and I turn it on, it's so zippy, it's fast, it's got a beautiful screen on it, and it's just fun to use. And if you're talking about $400, right? $415 US dollars. Man, if I could buy one of these, I wouldn't spend $1,000 on a Samsung, I tell you right now. It's a very special phone, and Realme is doing some great things right now with their devices. So curious to see what happens moving forward. I can't wait to see whatever. Maybe we'll get a OnePlus phone. Maybe next year, like a OnePlus phone would come out in the US with the best Dimensity chipset in it, and that would just blow everything away, especially if you could get it for like $700. It's kind of a pipe dream, but I'm waiting to see once this stuff finally starts to make it over here in some domestic phones that are supported natively on the network. It'll be game changing, and it'll be really bad for Samsung and really bad for Qualcomm, because they just can't respond to that, especially not quickly, because they've relied so long on selling these premium devices that they sell you these tremendous upcharges on, and they keep taking more stuff out of it. So, oh, and also this one came with a 150-watt charger. Not like the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV, no charger, no charging cable. Not like the iPhone, the Google, and the Samsung with no charging brick. This came with the charging brick, the cable, a case, a screen protector, and a great price. So that's all I've got in this video. If you have any questions or comments, please go to the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.